The pull of Vietnam was so strong that in the space of 4 years, Tiana was to go back there 12 times.
I started out as someone just trying to rediscover her roots, but my first trip to Vietnam really changed my life forever because I landed in Noi Bai Airport, Hanoi Airport. I had never been to Hanoi before, and I had a hot tip from a French journalist. He said, bring antibiotics, they don't have any. So I brought it in, and I asked to go to some clinics to see, and I was appalled at the lack of everything in Vietnam. In Hanoi, in Saigon, in Da Nang, which is my father's hometown in the central of the country, they didn't have sutures, they didn't have bandages. I saw nurses boiling bandages, using them again and again for surgery, and they had to operate on a small child, and they didn't have a child surgical table. So some Americans donated some money, some of these vets donated money to buy a child surgical table. If you put a small child on a big table, you can't get to it, you know, for surgery. It's very, very tough. And the lamps weren't working. They didn't have bulbs. And we thought, they don't have anything. Everywhere you turn, they need batteries, they need light bulbs, they need bandages, they need sutures, I felt helpless. I felt hopeless. I was one person. I couldn't do it all. But then I thought, yes, I can go back home. I could tell my friends. I could sell everything I had. I was living in Beverly Hills, and I had 2 cars. And I could, you know, raise funding through a garage sale, whatever. And I could go back to Vietnam with a camera crew and make this story, tell the story. I didn't know what I was going to do, except I had to, as I said, build a bridge of friendship.
Tôi xin đọc tấu. Bản thứ hai qua chủ đề con đường xưa em đi.
What started out as an idea for a comedy on culture shock quickly evolved into a documentary to reveal her native country to the world. But first, Tiana had to open some doors.
It's legendary in our history to win through poetry. So I got into Vietnam and I wrote a poem called Dear Vietnam, Dear America, New Dawn of Understanding. And I sent it to the Vietnamese Politburo. I sent it to General Vo Nguyen Giáp. I sent it to Phạm Văn Đồng, Lê Đức Thọ, and I asked to see them, and I asked permission to make a film about building a bridge. And they said, what is your proposal? I said, I don't have one. Just read my poem.
And the poem not only opened doors, but hearts as well, and paved the way to interviews with prominent leaders like Lee Dak To.
Khi tuổi mới lên 3, chợt vỗ cánh bay xa, lìa bóng đa xanh mát, tung vòm trời bao la. Quê nghèo mừng khách mới, người sưởi ấm tình người, về nguồn tìm gốc cội, ánh trăng rằm sáng soi. Đó là một đoạn ở trong cái bài thơ của vợ cháu.
Tiana's poem is now a national lullaby, and she's one of the rare few to be on first-name basis with some of the old leaders. But it wasn't easy filming in Vietnam.
In the beginning, there was no toilet paper, no drinking water. Hanoi was like going to someplace set back in the 40s. And we had to drink this bitter tea, and if we didn't drink that, we would get a stomach ache. You couldn't drink the ice, and it was very, very hot in the summer, freezing cold in the winter. So Hanoi is a very tough place. But then when you look around, everybody else is suffering.
Nhớ bác sĩ là ăn nhiều ha. Đó, bác sĩ nói con rồi, 3 chén nha, mấy chén? 3 chén, rồi giỏi, thì cái này nó không yên nha. 4 gì cũng được. Đó, cái này nè, cái này con để cho cái này là con nghịch nè, bị chày nè. Ha, bị chày làm sao bác sĩ mổ được? Thì em bé này, 2 em bé này Việt Nam có như vậy, và bố mẹ thì sống ở vùng cao nguyên trung phần Việt Nam, tức là ở cái vùng mà thời kỳ chiến tranh là cái vùng oanh kích tự do, cũng như là cái vùng được thả rất nhiều chất độc hóa học, bởi vì ở đó là có
I'm a filmmaker, but I think anything that we can do. This time I'm paying for XX luggage to bring in some more antibiotics, and I go outside of Saigon and Hanoi. I go in the poorest clinics, and I go to areas that were the heaviest sprayed area during the war of Agent Orange, Agent Green, Agent Yellow, Agent Blue. I found the victims of Agent Orange. A lot of them are no longer alive. They are preserved in jars, labeled that this unborn fetus with 3 eyes, 2 heads, whatever, was born at this year in this village. The mother was exposed to the chemical, agent. And the Vietnamese are not accusing. They're just saying that we await research. We hope someday the American doctors and scientists can come and do the research, because Vietnam is the laboratory. If we experimented on such things, then we have a responsibility to now learn. But since the U.S. government never approved of any research, because as I said, they would lose so much money if they found the link to cancer. So that this is a political situation that it's a losing battle, because as time moves on, you cannot find any proof anymore. So all I can do is bring my camera and film the aftermath, the victims of Agent Orange. I work with children with no tongues. I work with a child at the To Yu Hospital, the Agent Orange ward, with 1 finger coming out of his armpit. He knows how to use chopsticks. And he's such a sweet child. Now, we don't know if it was Agent Orange. Maybe it was from malnutrition. But malnutrition is another direct cause of war.
For Tiana, the journey of rediscovery, though painful, was something she had to do, like going to My Lai, where the most infamous massacre of the war occurred.
And then shot 370 men, women, and children.
At sunrise, Tuesday, March 16, 1968, Lieutenant Calley's Charlie Company opened fire on unarmed civilians.
Buổi sáng mà xảy ra vụ tàn sát, cũng như mọi buổi sáng bình thường khác thôi. Cái gia đình tôi chuẩn bị bữa cơm sáng để ra đồng làm việc, thì pháo của Mỹ bắn dồn dập. Và cả ngày đó, cả gia đình tôi vì bọn Mỹ bắn chết 11 người, chỉ còn lại mình tôi.
Em không có dòm mặt chị được, tại vì chị ở nước Mỹ hay làm sao? Hả?
Thì tôi nghĩ rằng thì lúc trước hầu như mỗi khi nói chuyện trước mắt tôi hình như không hợp thấy những ai nữa.